Welcome everyone. I have a few messages of the day for you, very significant messages. We're going to start with the 21st, and I believe there's at least 3 messages to bring you today. Let's see how far I get. And we're going to pull some oracle cards to set the tone. We have the Lover's Oracle and the Messages of Love oracle cards over here as well. And I'll probably pull something at the end as well. Let's see how it goes. So again, today is April 23rd. We started the video at 5:35, which is the Hierophant and the Wounded Warrior, which also can be freedom, change, and expansion, and surrender. So let's get right into this first read. And I want to show you the picture after I pull an oracle card for you from the Lover's Oracle. 3 cards just dropped right out. Okay, the bottom of the deck is deep in your heart. You already know the answer. Do what feels right. And the 3 cards that came out, and actually there's 4 cards. Okay, so we have first this card. Look deep within your heart and you will feel my love. My love for you is as deep as the ocean. Playfulness. Laughter is the best therapy. Have some fun together and remember, love is the greatest healer. And then the bird with their wings spread open wide. New beginning. A new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. And the 4th card is kind of like the shadow aspect there. Wait, don't rush into it. Allow nature to take its course. So don't rush. Just allow it to happen naturally. Really beautiful messages, and they're not all like that in this deck. I mean, they're mostly loving messages, but not necessarily specific messages like playfulness or new beginnings. All right, so let's see what the Messages of Love oracle cards have for you. April 23rd, 2023 for the twins. We have wait. Again, wait. The timing's not quite right yet. But this is your soulmate. Your soulmate loves, accepts, and respects you. And this is a destined partnership. A past life, love. Your soul remembers this intense connection. And regret. Someone feels remorse for the way they treated you. Okay. And the bottom of the deck here is stability. This relationship can stand the test of time. Firm boundaries are needed now. This already was here, so this energy is going away as you go into the first card, which again was wait, the timing's not quite right. Your soulmate loves, accepts, and respects you. So remember, just as you are. So there's no rush. So this first message is here. Sorry, I wiped off my phone a million times before I started, but here we go. So that top deck is the Journey of Love, the Nature's Whispers, Shaman Dreams, the Metatron deck, and at the bottom, my half deck of Rider Waite, with just mostly the characters there. So close up so you can see the cards a little bit better. Here we go. And again, this was from the 21st, Friday. And I'd written at the top of the page the message of bringing good news of peace to the world. I started pulling the cards for this read from 9:36 to 9:39. The 36 is the 10 of Wands, the Atlas energy with the weight of the world on their shoulders. And then 37, 38, and 39 is the King, Queen, and Knight of Cups. So it's like laying down your burdens to be love, to master love, to express love, to be love. And the way I set these up, all the cards to the left are the underlying energy. I pull out 3 cards. Sometimes more than 3 will come out, but I'll use that in the read. And then the end cards on the right are cards I count and also use as messages in the read. So, but again, bringing some numbers into play, since that's my strong suit from when I was young, is numerology. So the cards at the end of each deck came out as 11123 and also 12489. So co-creation in this year, 23, as the King of Wands, which 23 also is, leaps to the Queen of Wands with the number 89 coming up, which is also for me phi, right? The reflection of 98, which is the human body temperature, but 89 being phi, which is expansion or contraction or staying in the middle, reflecting instead justice and alignment of the 1, 2, 3 jump, the divine masculine, divine feminine, glowing and going in to the Hermit, co-creating the King of Wands arc with the Queen of Wands to dance with one and all, the 23 and their +1 to 24, which also references the 23 pairs of DNA, plus the 24th pair, which only activates once you've awakened. The pairs of chromosomes and dancing with the 9, with 24 cedars and 11 hopes. And again, I did touch on this on my last video. I had just watched Elena Danan's video on the Altians, and again the intergalactic confederation ship that came in that she's talked a lot about the past year, that has stationed behind Jupiter. But she had talked more about the 24 cedars that they had. They actually brought the Altians in to speak with a message, which was very beautiful. So I encourage you all to listen to that video. 11 hopes, and the numbers were very significant coming up in what she messaged as well, because I was getting the 24, as I just mentioned, the 24 chromosomes, and then she was talking about the 24 cedars and then the 11 hopes. And I'd said on my last video I had 11 messages to bring you that obviously I haven't brought yet because it's just too much to bring you. But that basically we're from Pegasus, from a place called Mon, like man, but Mon, and that we are the Hu of Mon on Terra. So Terra Hu of Mon, bringing the Hu to Terra and returning with 4 ships in 2021, and they said 2 more came more recently and activated arcs, the ones that you've heard about, like the one at the bottom of the Atlantic, for us to play with. And again, their origin point, she said, was NGC 7331, which was very interesting because I always add up all the numbers, the point of origin. And they said that they will also visit us to help us get started until we don't need them anymore. The numbers came up for NGC 7331 as 14737331, which equals 38, which is the Queen of Cups. And that came up again as 83 in another number sequence that I added up. So again, the Queen of Cups comes up as very significant. The angels, chariot of the King of Cups, and the Empress with unconditional love and Mother Nature's abundance to play and pursue happiness. The leap from head to crown and unconditional love, unity consciousness, and then leaping back as well. So I'm always guided to break down some of the significant words, and Terra I always spell as T-E-H-R-A, whereas I'm sure that Elena spells it T-E-R-R-A. I think I've seen her spell it that way before, but I keep getting T-E-H-R-A. And so I looked up the definitions for both ways, and it comes up as the Earth's heart, and again breaking down Earth as ear and art are both in that word of the heart. Earth's heart, and the heart and earth both have the same letters as well as Terra with an H. Ear and arts to see and discern polarity, with Boo, which comes up as a nickname for the constellation Boots, and Hoot, as the owl keeps coming up, and the herdsman, which is Boots, and steam coming out of them, coming together. So the herdsman and the owl, the wise one and the very grounded one. And then T-E-H-R-A comes up as the moral man playing game of eights. And then the 8-ball rack came up, and of course that's a triangle, racking it up to change in the Delta Dawn to do-si-do, to shift and shift again, trying all angles and calling all angels. So she talked about the Altians, and that's Una that she always communicates with is Altian. The Alt I looked up, and all other versions like ALTE, and then the Altians as well. I think Altia comes up, but not Altians with an N on the end, but it doesn't really matter. But the old ancient from afar on high, right? So much represents that energy, and deeply profound. The Rose of Sharon also came up. The hibiscus, Syriacus, very strong and tolerant, with whites, pinks, blues, purples, and reds, and magenta bush from 8 to 12 feet high and 6 to 10 feet wide, and even dwarfs to Lil Kim. So Sharon was being broken down here with the Sha and the Ran, and Ran is round, circle, and sharp, the point of time, the leaf and deer, the rune and the rum, the seal, horsehair, findings and observation, a navel or belly button, red to row, the aftermath, and again the Sha being not only the Shah as in a king or as in a shaman, and I keep getting like sun flashes in the window from someone who just pulled up. That was interesting. So Shahs also evaporate, to drink, cat, the squared off W, new, to burn, and then Shar, S-H-A-R, is ground squirrel, car, train, carriage, and way, or milk and the liquid after curdled when you're making cheese. So this is where hit the ground running and on the ground running came up again, and being on. New navel, evaporation, findings, king, cat, round and sharp, to burn in the aftermath, the king's seal, the cat's rum and rune and row, new horsehair observation, ... rose. On the ground running, or hit the ground running, and rose, as in the plane taking off. High by, here hibiscus comes up, the high by, or two excuses, justifies SIRIAN cussing, or kissing cousins. And then Altia in our language is also a place in Spain, Costa Blanca, on the coast. So NCG 7331 was, I looked it up to see what was written about it, since Elena had brought it up, and it was discovered 1784, and I was looking in Night Sky, is it JPL, NASA.gov? Anyway, NASA sites, and it was discovered 1984, a pure spiral galaxy, the Deer Lick group, and the constellation of Pegasus. And that was at 1038, so there's that 38 of the Queen of Cups again. About 40 to 50 million light years. There was a couple different quotes there, but perhaps 46,000. And then in Wiki, the right ascension numbers came up as 22H and 37M. The brightest member is NGC 7331. Also named Caldwell 30, in the north edge of Pegasus and close to Lacerta. And HI.53 also came up, type capital SB, and that was coming up from messier.seds.org, SEDS.org. There's been one supernova discovered so far, SN 1959D, and 32 inch west, 13 north of galaxy nucleus, as bright as 13.4 magnitude. And I just noticed in looking up some of this stuff that Mercury has an 88-day orbit, so that's very significant for the twin flames symbolism, the 88. And it breaks down Altian, ALTAE, as the ancient bright light. And of course, it's very similar to altar. which is the balcony, the high gold, the sharp knife. So the underlying energy here at 11 o'clock on the dot, double zeros of source energy backing up the 11. And remember, double zeros can also be the infinity symbol. So aligning with infinity and the underlying energy of 16, the tower in the heart of the moment, 36 of intuition, 64 of woodwives, and 23, the card 23 came up with duality. The 9 of wands, 35, wounded warrior as well. In a sudden rush to the heart, and Atlas crowning at the same time, towering mountains of intuition, or the intuit connection of you and I, at 9:36, where's that 369 energy, and Atlas of the weight of the world, from 1 to 3 spirals, and then the lambda, which is the 4, the L and the 1, the lambda leap of the woodwives who are adapting around the trunk of the tree for bliss to help end the pain for the 23 King of Wands, who's off balance in the 9 of Wands wounded warrior mode and on guard. On guard! So at 11:05 of justice and alignment with the 5 of change and freedom and expansion and the Hierophant, the underlying energy here was the 27 of the ethereal touch, after the 8 dance of the yin-yang lover bending over backwards to reach the sharp point. The 41 of Mary Magdalene and the Holy Grail, knowing without knowing, is Hercules, Spanish versus Atlas, Moroccan. So here Morocco and Spain both came up very significantly here, because those are the cultures that bring up the basic word Ultia and Altian. And let me just put these back out there so you can see them. Where was these? And then we have the hearts over here. So I think they came out this way. I'm just putting it out for you. Okay. So all right, so I got Spanish and Moroccan energy here, but I was getting that kind of energy prior to this as well, so I knew it was very significant. The 39 of the Knight of Cups with a handle on the snake, and now bringing Hydra into it, and Hydra will come up in another read as well. The Knight of Cups with a handle on the snake, referencing the Kundalini or Hydra, and letting the feminine lead the way. The 49 of the Woman of Light receiving the light, getting the wish of the 50, which is the 10 of Cups, which normally talks about the family fulfillment and the ending of emotional cycles. But here is showing as the cloak of the family, right? The masculine's protection and emotional fulfillment of she and he, where she fills up and he cloaks, protects her light. As the 27 flame of ethereal touch in a sudden event. This could be epiphanies, sexual exchange in the heart of the moment. At 11:11, the first card here was the 25, which is the Knight of Wands, and the question mark as the seed of the heart. That the seed of the heart is the question mark, channeling sudden energy into form. The 5 of shaping the communal dance around the egg in a cradle or dome. The Hierophant cloaking with change, freedom, and expansion, with the 38 Queen of Cups as the pearl threaded, heart to heart, town to town, planting a question, a quest connection to be one. Suddenly the Knight of Wands is free to change with the Queen of Cups, leading to the first card here of the 30 with towering magnificence. The seed is the needle's point, already threaded, entering to weave a quilt of all different patches. Be careful, as the quilt conception can easily become the guilt-y spiral. But instead of guilt with a Y, it equals gil and ty, which is thank you and gratitude. The stallion or the stall lion, the battle steed or old horse, with gratitude, saying thank you. Spiraling you and I to leap into gratitude at 11:22 of justice and alignment, and the Fool with an open heart taking a leap of faith. You see what a single why, like a question, can do to change your perspective, right? It's all in the question. So the underlying energy here is the 20 of higher ground and the ALTE, A-L-T-E, of the ancient ones, A-L-T. The great rose, which means already risen, hit the ground running to rise to the occasion. Blooming hearts and fairy smarts rise to patient trees to give assurance that this too shall pass. 4 generations and seasons, or sea suns, like Pegasus, and gene, as in the 24 pairs, rations, and sea suns, like Pegasus, pegged as us. Assurance, which breaks down to the ass, you are ants, or donkey, you are ants. Or as 2, divine feminine queen and higher self, and the I illumination. The or also comes up as your. As 2, I'll umi, which is the mother cook sand bone voice illiterate or illiterate. Umu, UMU, compost earth soil, and the Titan triggerfish. Illumination comes up as I'll light up a nation. Nation, an unforgettable connection, as butterflies explore the dark side of the moon, of orange glow, as Altians hide behind Jupiter, and Ganymede is one of Jupiter's moons, which is referred to as orange, at 1134 of justice alignment and the energetic exchange, the arrows of love. The 41 of the Ace of Cups of the Holy Grail of the Divine Feminine's lineage, to be in service as the octopus teacher to the little seahorse. The 8 plus 1, which is 9. Remember, octopus has 8 extensions, but also 1 head, the 9. And Pegasus to be nourished by this in the 698 pod connection. So those of you who follow me will understand the 698 pod connection, which is just the 6 and 9 that come together and automatically make the 8 in the middle, that the 9 and 8 come together. And they're opened by the 7 key, the 6, 7, 8, 9 pod connection. The 22 of the leap of faith and the 3 of celebrating our differences with the child and mother and Terra, Human, and Nataru, both land and sea, unicorns and dolphins, magical horses of land and sea, with horsetails and claws, or perhaps clauses. Stories and phrases of 3, 6, and 9, of Atlas and Altus, Atlantis and Alternator, the ancient, urgent, and unforgettable, or before I pray, gold dog, now honor, origin, might, and hymn, as in a song, the alder tree and wood, and 2 possibilities, Esther Williams and sink or swim, east her will, I am. So Esther Williams breaks down to east, her, will, right? So east, her will, I am, in the twit connection, the twin towers of you and I connection. And then the squared E, 3, W, and M come up, where the W that's squared is the Sha that came up earlier. And the E and 3 back to back is the middle of the toroidal field of that third reaction in the double diamond star, right? The one in the middle, like the Star of Bethlehem. But again, the E3MW is the rolling stone, which make up the middle of the star. When you see that third light projecting out from the 2 twin lights that surround it. The rolling stone as Esham 3 is EWM3, ESHA, so Sha is the W, E is the capital E, M is the M, and then 3 at the end. So Esham 3, which comes up as sharing 3 ways in something super new, which is Nova. The star and E-star, which is Esther, and the crowning bathing cap of synchronized swimming. of Esther Williams. At 11:52, which is Justice and Alignment of the Queen of Swords, who also comes up as Lady Liberty, the first card here is the 16 of Sudden Inner Truths, as the bees were hitting our window over and over again. The 28 and the 38, a bountiful harvest of the path and the twin flames, which is the 28 and 38. The Queen of Cups 38 with acceptance of love as the vines wrap around the tree trunk and all trees are rooted together. As Atlas erupts in her harvest, which is Hercules, so Atlas to Hercules referencing Morocco, and then the Hercules mountain is the one they always talk about in Spain, which then are the pillars of the Rock of Gibraltar across, which points the way north to the UK. As the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Cups, because there are two here, and remember the 2 also looks like the Q when you write the Q really fast, equals the 4 cups of Hercules, of 2 queens of heart, grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love. So then we have the 26 of the Page of Wands, and to be true to your lion's heart. The 33 of being gentle with your Christ-like self. The seed in that which stands tall, or on high, or water and fire, both steamy and misty. At 12 o'clock on the dot right here is the underlying energy of the Wheel of Fortune of 23, the King of Wands, of luck and right timing. And then the 43 of the overflow of coming together with overwhelm and plenty of the Taj Mahal. And then the 60 of the desert, going to the opposite direction, of the totem Tyon of the Tiger Lioness connection, who are watchers here in the desert. And they're great. Piggyback, person to person, wood on wood, the 64 of the bliss of the woodwives. And after death, or perhaps an advertisement, some kind of apartment ability, an offshoot of the trunk, where new totems from the original root sprout, building upward as others adapt, in peaceful bliss here, in coming together. So at 12:29 of the Hanging Man and the 3 of Wands being present in the moment, and the 15 of the Dust Devil, or the Shadow, kicking it to move out of stagnation or stagnation. And nation is nat connection, which is unforgettable connection. The 45 of the 5 of Cups and the bliss of detoxing and getting over loss, regret, shame, guilt, and the past, tying pages back together where the story book ends, with space between, weaving back and forth in an unforgettable connection, repairing the veil with forgiveness. The top-down tie-on of the Tiger Lioness connection with a bow and our row and our O's or owls, and right use of powers or powers. This energy of owing and owing, right? Owie as in boo-boos, and owing as in feeling indebted to somebody. With the bow, the row, and the POW, about the root and the pout. The archer with a bow in a canoe rowing, prisoner of war with the power to break his chains from the dock and row free with arrow or channeled direction. After or Lucy threatening to knock Charlie's block off, there are peace talks, where I got big connection right there. We were currently elevating U.S.-Vietnam ties at 12:46, the Hanging Man and the inner children being nice to each other. So at 12:47, which I then got connect again, the 5 of closing the door and completion of changes. The Hierophant and the Empress, benefactors of grace and generosity in the mushroom. The King and their consort enjoying the show, stepping down for retirement with guidance and abundance. the 47 and the 9 of the sky bridge to union, 4 to 7, heart to crown, plus the 9, dances on one foot in a balancing act as the moth to flame, but in a balanced way. At 12:49, hanging out to get your wish, the underlying energy is the 49 of the family circles getting their wishes after aligning with the wake-up call, the 21 of the indigos to the stars and the sunrise. After dark night, the sun shall rise, and each will be satisfied. The 51 of the King of Swords with white of purity and innocence, the diamond light and angel wings, doing well with water and air. But the 23 King of Wands is still in duality, and balance is needed here in the passion department. So we have the 17 of conquering fears with angelic assistance, one step at a time coming down the mountain. The star, after shining bright, is needing help to come down off the Trojan horse. The 31 of transformation of light and dark, receiving the light and allowing the shadow, the gift and allowance, allowing the divine feminine to receive light and humbly stand behind her. As the 18 of the Queen's cubits of 11 in the pyramids, Mother Earth is grounding and supportive. In a wake-up call to the moon, with the cards here 20 and 18, again equals 38, the Queen of Cups, the wake-up call to the moon to be the Queen of Cups, and often the moon comes up as the daughter as well, and Q bits, the concept, bits, and pieces being quilted together. And it was funny because my daughter's music in the background as I was writing this, while she was listening to it in her room, was Dancing with the Devil at 1:03. So the orange energy here at the end with the 24, which is the Queen of Wands and Omega, also calling you to stretch and lunge to release some pent-up energy, firing up the heart to crown, twin towers in transition, the 13 of air to fly free, with two houses combined here, or where two roofs come together, taking the sun and freezing it under two roofs to heat towers when needed. With 16, 9, and 35, sudden gold infinitely fed to the twin bridging, steps to the sun, the stone hinge as the hermit and shadow bird, chariots of fire, the 35 of the Kundalini of the wounded warrior all fired up and channeled to infinitum for rainbows everywhere, root to heart to crown and beyond, as she runs and he sits with a sword in his backpack. She the rolling stone, the path of one, the Sophia S word or sword. Say it soft and it's almost like praying, allowing the sword to melt like putty in her hands. And I'm getting connection with that too. At 113, which is the magician or the divine masculine, and the 13 of transition and death. The 53 of the Knight of Swords is the key to freedom and the splitting of the tree. The 6 of love of the aqua rose gold mother's heart to the crown and harmonized with the 50 of the 10 of cups and the sign from birds and spirit with love. The lovers, the dreamers, and me, as Kermit would say. At 116 of the masculine and the magician and the 16 of the tower is the underlying energy of the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords, with the Knight of Cups as well, and their march forward to graduate one-to-one with Mother of Family. So again, the Altians in their message talked about us, they're here, they came back into our solar system to witness our graduation, basically our growing up, and coming back to witness it, because they consider us their children, their brothers and sisters. So this energy of the march forward to graduate one-to-one with Mother of Family, and again they talk about Mother Nataru, the lovers and the Knight of Swords, as the King of Cups is happy, the Page of Wands and the Queen of Wands have an opportunity to join passions or offer of passionate nature from the Nine of Pentacles sovereign, perhaps with Sister Queen of Cups chiming in, or with a message to share, of sisters or higher selves shared between Sovereign and Queen of Cups stepping up to take a swing, or advertising, or posting a death, or dark night brought to justice, or word from Scorpion Libra or Scorpion Saggy in dark night and Knight of Wands mediate between the Page of Swords and the King of Swords, or they are the King of Swords and Page of Swords, father and child. As the King of Swords is chained to the wounded warrior who may be pissed, or the Devil, X, or Capricorn between the King of Swords and the wounded warrior unwilling to stand down, or stand off in court. Capricorn Fire or Saggy deeply wounded by the King of Swords coming off as cold, or perhaps the Devil here. At 126, the leap to the Page of Wands, or perhaps to the year 26, from 23 to 26. I keep getting 26 as this period from now. And the underlying energy of the King of Wands with the wounded warrior defending their post. The world is waiting patiently for them to get over it, to surrender their differences, and to free the King of Wands. Pisces and Aries here, complete with leap of faith, as the King of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles with the Magician between, with loads of confidence, soulmates, hermit to make magic together, and move, travel, or ascend, with Gemini or Virgo, and Virgo Cancer perhaps. The Knight of Wands is still trying to get justice with the Queen of Wands and Page of Wands, while the King of Wands is still waiting for them to come around, or come full circle, or waiting to go for a walk. Perhaps 2 Virgos and a Gemini siblings, or soulmates go for a ride or trip in July, as the Emperor and the Page of Cups, or Aries and Pisces, or the Emperor and Aries Pisces, are waiting for the wounded warrior to come out of dark night, out of the stress or nightmare, or coming out of parenthood, or the family is waiting for humans to graduate and get past finals at 139 with the Divine Masculine Magician and then the Knight of Cups. Okay, so this next one, this is a quick one, but I did want to bring it because it had some important symbology in it. Let me get to the picture here. And this one starts with the Fortune Oracle, and then I used the Tea Leaf deck, the Lenormand Kipper combined decks, and then the half deck, which is this read right here. Okay, and they're all set up the same way. We didn't have a third card necessarily that came up in this pull, but this was just like a mini pull. So it didn't have to be 3 cards each. It just came out naturally, organically. So the message here was from 1141 to 50, which is the Ace of Cups, the 2 of Cups, the 49 and 50 came out, which is the 9 and 10 of Cups. So it's like the beginning and the ending of Cups. And the underlying energy here was the 28 of the Snake in the Clouds, 32 of Despair, or the Pair, and then the Page of Wands, which is number 26. For the twin flames to be careful with any temporary problems in the journeyman, with the journeyman in despair, or the Pair, regarding the Page of Wands, which is new inspiration, or perhaps the year 26. And that could be a child, that can be a pet, or just something they're really excited about. But 1153 is alignment with the Knight of Swords and the underlying energy of the 27 and the proposal. The 16 of the Lion and the 28 of the Snake. The proposal to harness the aura of Lion and charge ahead magnificently. Intuition and healing abilities will guide you to a better path. The Flame, the Tower, and the Twin Flame. As the first card here was the 29 star and the 15 key, which add up to 44, which is Hercules, and also the star key, which equals a screwdriver, right, with a star tip. The twin flame Kundalini, the gift of the shadow, and the driver getting screwed, and then Hydra coming up. So of course Hydra is the snake constellation, and also the dragon with regenerative 7 heads, or a very complex problem that's not easily solved. And again, the hydra plant looks like a pinwheel. The water snake, the otter, or the koipu, which is like a large rat, to feed, sustain, to nourish, and to fatten up. So I was guided to break down hydra, and so the messages that came up from that were concealment of Re, and coming together as hydra, the seed of the penis and masturbation, or the husband, the cow, the dog, and the monkey, the victory, cry of joy, to bleed, carry, wear, draw, pull and drag and sweep dirt under the rug, to overpower and leave, torture and release. And again, there's this repeating energy of the orgasm, basically. To hide and project, hide and seek, and the snake, ultimately, that sheds its skin, was the message coming up here. So the underlying energy here at 1226 of the Hanging Man and the Page of Wands is May, purse and fire, 30 pieces and flame with strong emotion behind it. The sun, the chain, happiness and chain of events, and the caterpillar with clouds, that changes are coming, and temporary problems. Remember the word temporary, as the torch of enlightenment and understanding. And then the underlying energies of the message of concern with 14, the 5 of mature man, the 27 of inspired by risky words or flame letter, the patience for change and inspiration, exposing death or an ending, or a cause revealed. Don't shoot the messenger, with Sagittarius, Taurus, and Leo right there. The first next card is the 24 of the Page of Cups, reflecting swans, the 13 of the Page of Swords, messenger child in transition, and the 29 of the Ace of Swords, loving lady, present with the truth, and fiery Pisces and airy Scorpio, and the journey of the pair with loving woman that is gifted. The 9 of Swords with distress, the Page of Cups and Page of Pentacles may be happy with themselves for moving forward, and they could be children or pets or messages, with the Queen of Swords to talk to Sovereign 9 of Pentacles and 9 of Wands, wounded warrior. As the Queen of Swords faces the King of Wands or their children, one may be very independent and all that, and the other one who plays the victim. The High Priestess, Chariot, and the King of Swords focused on driving integrity or legalities home, as the Divine Feminine, Pisces, Virgo, or Cancer, and Scorpion, Dark Knight, soulmate with Pisces, or Dark Knight defending the world. With Justice and the Empress, or Divine Feminine, or Pisces, Libra, and Taurus, the Empress with the Knight of Cups to the King of Cups, and the Empress offering love to the King of Cups, who could be the Emperor, or they could be two separate people, but sending love to inspire them. The underlying energy of the Page of Wands to the first card here, the Queen of Cups, the Magician, and the Emperor, who's excited about the Queen of Cups' magic, or DNA and tools, or her table and flowers. As the Knight of Wands, Lovers, and the Queen of Wands in spiritual mediation, or Gemini, with choice of path, the Twin Flames, or the Page of Swords message, and the temptation of Capricorn waving, with Hermit, King of Pentacles, and Knight of Swords. The Hermit or Virgo, King of Pentacles, is shedding light on their past, while the Knight of Swords rushes in to cut them off at the pass, or an objection. The Queen of Pentacles set loyal friend free, perhaps partners in crime or soulmates one-to-one time, with Sagittarius, Gemini, Capricorn, Virgo, and Aries. There could be a divorce here, or court hearing, or mediation. But all's well that ends well at 1 a.m., double zeros backing up the 1 of the leap, the Divine Masculine, and the Magician. So then we have this next message, which was from the 22nd. See if I can get to that. And this one is, again, the Fortune Oracle. and then the Zodiac Oracle, then the Lenormand Kip combined, and then the half deck of Rider-Waite. So this is the next message. I'll bring it up closer for you as well. So this one was pulled at 1041 to 44, which is the 41, 2, 3, and 4 of the Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups, 3 of Cups, and 4 of Cups. The numbers at the end came up as 1211 and 12115, and translated as the world and the bookends. And by the way, Canada and their 5G issue came up with the 12115. But the world and bookends and change as the hanging man with justice and alignment and freedom. In the leap to the high priestess and the Hierophant, which is basically alternative and traditional beliefs, with justice between them. And that could be 2 in court as well. Again, this could be a repeating pattern of alternative versus traditional, perhaps in the public forum, to teach us how to bring alternative and traditional means together, to see both sides as something that could benefit us. And then 1211 came up. The first entry was Charles Schwab, so I don't know what's going on with that company, but that could come up. And then the second entry was 111, which for me is also co-creation, and then a man of wisdom. The underlying energy was at 1058, 10 being the wheel of fortune and destiny, high vibration, the 58 of the 4 of swords, and the 33 card of the unicorn. To just believe that all these beautiful things are coming true for you if you just believe. The moon with 14, 23 of the courthouse, and justice of 11. The 7 of wands standing up for yourself with Cancer, Sagittarius in the mix, and the King of wands with justice and alignment, or Christ and angels align in 23. And again, that can reference, again, alternative and traditional perspectives. The underlying energy of the 35 of the wish, the 27 of proposal, and the 33 of the unicorn, and the wounded warrior's flame. With 1 horn, heart and rings, the unicorn, the wounded warrior inspired, living and breathing unicorn magic by just believing in unity consciousness. The first card out here is the world with 36, the lovers 18, and marriage 20. Seeing the big picture, the map of the world, of romance and lovers, and the wake-up call to fulfillment and unconditional love. With 1 card at the end here, 16, which is the tower, but with the lion and the towering roars, a picture of the lion roaring. This also could be a sexual connection, right? Like a dog or a lion would be howling for their partner. The lion calling out for their unicorn. The call heard around the world, claiming what's theirs. A lover's announcement at 1107. So the underlying energy here is Uranus with number 20, air and 25, Capricorn number 10, and Pluto 22, and the moon 14. And this was coming up from that zodiac deck. So a sudden wake-up call or decision, as the Knight of Wands has a communication, Libra, Capricorn, or destined temptation to the Fool's journey and leap. Profound transformation of subconscious patience, angels, and romance, with hair, horns, and wings. These are a few of my favorite things. At 1111, which in Gematria, the first entry for 1111 is twin flames. The first here is the 4 with Cancer, 13, and the Sun, as the Emperor deals with death or transition. Cancer or June to July vacation and romantic sun. And that's funny too, because my son just texted today about when he'll be able to take off and arranging that in June. So Cancer, Aries, Scorpio, or profound transformation in Cancer season to Leo, so again July to August, and Jupiter with 18 with luck and romance. Sagittarius and Cancer and Leo or fire egos at play here. Pisces and Aquarius with 12 and 11 hanging out aligning with justice of the lion's roar. And again, the energy of Leo and Scorpio together, which are both squares or on each other's square or fixed signs. So at 11:16 is the 6 of the King of Wands and the Lover's family or Gemini breakthrough and the Emperor's courtship of finding stability with the 27 of unexpected income or incoming. This can be a queen, a penny, or change of hands, or home to Page of Cups vulnerable child, or a Linda Blair moment of the head spin. Perhaps the fun house or three faces with the Knight of Cups taking a chance, the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands angels or siblings, or the King of Wands and Emperor courtship of the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups children, as the King of Wands to the courthouse with paperwork. And 37 is with 28 here, which is the King of Cups and the Twin Flames in a time crunch or choice of path, of love and puppy love, of the moon child or romancing the family or taking a walk, with the King of Wands and King of Cups, Cancer or Pisces, and perhaps Scorpio, or child in transition, or message of ending or passing here, with the High Priestess, the Chariot, the Knight of Wands, and the Page of Cups, or the High Priestess driving or traveling to meet the Knight of Wands and the Page of Cups, as the Page of Pentacles invites the Page of Swords or brings flowers to their temptation, or this could be kids swearing to the King of Cups who may be stressed out or sleepless, manifesting big transformation, and Gemini or Virgo with Scorpio who's happy with themselves, and the Knight of Pentacles and Queen of Swords offering the Sovereign Nine of Pentacles justice or serving them. As Libra King of Swords and King of Pentacles receive the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups, or response from them, the Emperor and Page of Wands may be excited, but the King of Wands may be defensive about the Knight of Cups and their kind offer to get a new choice or path from the Queen of Wands who's looking the other way, as the Queen of Pentacles is free to couple up now, or the Queen of Wands and Queen of Pentacles is the couple. Lovers, Empress, and coming full circle with Aries, Gemini, Taurus, and Pisces at 11:30, alignment with the union, with the Hermit above shedding light on the past. So I looked up, I had an appointment after that, and one of the plates I saw was 2772, and by the way, the time I wrote this at, I didn't notice before, was at 2:27. So at 2:27, I wrote down 2772, and when I looked that up in Gematria, a picture of a birth certificate, you know, with an advertisement came up, but I was guided for whatever reason to look at the birth certificate because Apache caught my eye and Arizona. And the name on the birth certificate was Fort Defiance, Southern Navajo General Hospital, Father Roger Paskey, 25 years old, Navajo farmer, with Mother Mary Ballone, age 27, both in Blue Canyon. The first entry from Gematria that came up for 2772 is the Divine Warrior of Almighty God. The second was Yahweh and Savat. It's YHWH and then TZEVAOT. The third entry was It Will Come as Destruction from the Almighty. And fourth was Jesus Christ, and it said thee twice. Jesus Christ, thee, the Lamb of God, the Lion of Judah. The fifth entry was the $20 trillion elephant in the room. And the sixth entry was 4224. You can look that up if you'd like. So I also noticed a license plate 6331 since the Altian number was 7331. So I looked it up and it said, believe you will be saved, your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Believe and you will be saved, your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was coming up there. So while, let's see here. So that's going to be it for that read. All right. And I'd watched Whitney Houston's movie last night, and I was listening to Amanda Elle is just for a little while, and she brought up, wasn't really paying attention, and I just heard her say Houston, so I know there's something about Whitney Houston or Houston coming up right now. And another word that kept coming up was Clearwater, like in Clearwater, Florida, came up at least 3 times, which is really odd. And then here is this message from the 23rd today. See if I can get to it. Okay. So this is the Journey of Love, the Energy Deck, the Fortune Oracle, the Wild Unknown Animal Guidebook, and then the half deck of my Rider-Waite. I'll bring it up a little bit closer. All right, and this is from today. I just saw the word woke, and I was getting the Beatles song. Woke up, got out of bed, dragged a comb across my head. The cards were pulled from 1037 to 1041. So we had the King of Cups, the Queen of Cups, Knight of Cups, Page of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. Really beautiful energy there. The cards at the end of each pile came out to 31112 and 31123. So here are the messages from this read. The Emperor, the Empress co-creates with the High Priestess, and Justice with the King of Wands. The Empress Justice hanging out with 31, or the group, or chaos, and the 1, 2, 3 jump. The 31, remember, I always talk about the 31, you have to go from the 3 to the 4, right? Touching base with the lambda leap with source before starting over at 1, right? The leap from 3 to 1. You have to go to 4 before starting over again. The leap to 4, be 4, 1. The 1, 2, 3 jump and leap. 2, 4, B, 4, 1, and B also is the number 13. So it was very interesting the way the numbers were coming up. So the mother with 24 pairs transitions to love, the Holy Grail. The hole at 0 point, God's spiral rail, the tunneling effect, suspended animation as the train slows to the junction. So I was guided to look up and break down junction, which means joined. So junctus comes up as joined, but without the us, because we're just looking up junked here. But it also came up as the June CT connection. And then JUN I looked up as well with JUNC. So it comes up as the Grail, to God's rail, the train, to the top dog's time out in the rain. Right? So the Grail is the G rail and train is the T rain. The Grail is the cup, remember, the holder and the track of guidance or direction for the train or T rain. Tracking train always, remember that the train doesn't go anywhere without the tracks, that they go together or not at all on hold at the junction, which equals the young Tyon, the tiger lioness connection, the totem, which is the toting them along. The one that's young, high vibe, just as you are, woolly and well hydrated, count at court later than scheduled and stuck in suspension until alignment catches up, until the lock catches the right connection and opens and docks at the stationing, which breaks down to the path at the connection of the talking tree, or perhaps the water meadows, and the living library, an emotional story of water, contact, and centi Tesla, or 10 to the negative 2. And that was really weird, how the 10 to the negative 2, because this had already come up that day. Whenever I want to fluff my dryer, it automatically goes on 40 minutes. So it'll always go from 40 and I'll count down 2 minutes when they fluff. So it'll go down to 39 and 38. And here is 10 to the minus 2 as I just done this. and 39 and 38 being significant as well. So the 10 to the negative 2 is coming up 4 times from 40 minutes as minus 100, minus 100, minus 100, minus 100. And then the dash, which also equals the 2, or the space between, and 2 equals the Q as well. And then we have the 100 to the 400. And again, Tesla broken down is TE of the moral man and SLA of the leaf, lettuce, to hit, strike, fight, or slay, or kill. So the moral man slays, and altogether with the 40, that number would be 10 to the negative 22, because dash is also 2, and it was minus 2. So 2100 comes up here, which is also the 2 and the 1 is the feminine and the masculine, and the double zeros can be the infinity as well. The divine feminine and divine masculine, lots of source support and googly eyes, and of course infinity. But 2100 came up with lots of interesting entries from gematria. The turkey vulture, Wonder Woman. The third was V, capital V, and then 2 smaller V's, and then 2, 2, as I just came up with 10 to the 22. The Wizard of Oz, and then me, 9999, her, 6666, and Spiritual Wonder Boy, which can reference as Jesus Christ, as well as the 3333. A major screw-up, and then absolute divine channeling of the Almighty God. And then the 10th entry was Who is the Savior? 11 is my only true love. And then I skipped to 15 because the rest weren't very interesting. But 15 was my portal to talk to God, where 16 was number 23, the King of Wands in this year, and the 17, that all roads lead to Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and 18 was a nothing can stop what is coming, nothing. 19 was World Quantum Day, and 20 was WXYZ, the final square. And 21 was the gate opens, souls are released, and then the camel strikes. I don't think it's the camel, I think it's the gamut. I couldn't read my writing there. The gate opens, the souls are released, and then the gamut strikes. But you can look that up if you want to check. And again, that's 2100 in gematria. The divine feminine and divine masculine infinitely dance. 2 and Q, and as I lose my voice there, in the conception of 4, which is the L and the 1, or the lambda leap, the lamb to the father, and then the leap back again. And again, this reference of rebirthing, where the Q is like the womb and the seed, right, of conceiving a child. But then the lambda leap is different, the 4, because that's leaving and then coming back again, knowing how to get back again. So it's easy as a soul to come in at birth. I'm not saying it's easy, but that's the conception. But the lambda leap is something different. It's being able to leap to source, but then leap back again in a rebirth. It's like the recycling of the soul that leaped in the concept connection over and over until the 5 of the divine stationing, where, remember, just like in the 698 pod, the 9 and 8 have to come simultaneously, and ether was coming up as the 5, which is the collective of 1 through 4, so that when you get 4, you automatically get 5 as well. So here's that same energy of the divine stationing of 4 and 5 together, bridging 5 to 3 and holding it open, as 2 and 4 are the spaces between, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 2 and 4 are the spaces between the 1, 3, and 5, transitioning to, remember my 144 cycle is the 1, the number 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 is 1 pod, and then 6, 7, 8, 9 is that 6, 9, 8 pod, with the 7 being the key. So here's the transition to that 6, 9, 8 pod from the 2, 3, 4, 5 pod that we've already mastered, and leaving that behind. So the 4 and the 5 come together, just like the 8 and the 9 come together, just like the 12 and the 13 come together, right? Once you have the end, you have the transition. So that energy of you must leap from the 3 to 4, but also the 5 before the 1 and starting over again. And there's that energy of all for one and one for all, where ALL for one is one for AWL, because the all makes a whole. So the all ALL is the Holy Grail, and the 14 is the Temperance card, the angel, and the whole that pours out, right? So the Grail is the cup that collects the all, and then the angel is the whole that poured, like in the song, if a man could be two places as one time, like I poured myself on thee. This is the energy of the angel and the whole pouring out their love back on thee. So again, the energy of angel, and the backwards word is LEGNA, which means that which is collected. So the angel pours out and the legna collects, like that's the Holy Grail. So at 11:29, Justice of the 3 of Wands, the underlying energy of the 8 of the yin-yang lover, 17 of action, 34, which is the energy of today and unity, the fish, the Knight of Wands, and the 25, which is the minute I woke up today. So bending over backwards to reach the point of entry in the vortex, the tunnel, the vacuum, which, by the way, I put some vacuums out on the curb today, the void, the point of attraction that none can resist, the 8 needing to weave in upon itself, to backtrack, for the train to turn around at the U and cross over the last juncture before going forward equally on the other side before spiraling further. The 17, which is also an 8, of black and white stallions or stall lions that take action to merge and make dreams come true. In the 1 leap and the 7 of the boomerang and gamma wave, it's all about knowing how to get back from where you started from, where you once belonged. The difference between the arc and the key is multiple directions as opposed to just up and down, being able to align while moving. Run and catch up, run and catch up, but without getting too runny or settling into water and tomato, as ketchup does, with Colonel Mustard just waiting in the wings to go on and take their place, or share their space in orange, or adding a carrot dangling to the mix to get them to come up, their comeuppance, to the solar plexus, as all are attracted to the sun, they just can't resist. With 34 in unity, a time of divine understanding, renewal, peace, and hope, in the energetic exchange back and forth, or the arrows of love, radiating and attracting great love here, by hand fasting, where opposites fold in upon each other. Again, the folding of the hands into each other. At 11:52 of Justice and Alignment and the Queen of Swords, the fish leaps as the Red Sea root, the arc of the tail, or the tail as in a story, that was unsupportive of the head or crown, with a strong foundation, or very top-heavy, when leaping in the air out of water, having to navigate a whole lot of emotion just to get one little gasp of air in a leap, just to fall back into the emotions again. So the red root sea, as in the ocean, or seeing with your eyes, or the sea of Christ consciousness, or the whispering bench, to hit the ground running, as the Knight of Wands rushes back through the desert with fire in his belly, to hit the brakes hard and slide into home base, right to the edge of Lover's Leap, the fool's journey up in the air, not knowing what comes next, hung in suspended animation until time meets up to catch the 11th hour at 11:59, which is literally the 11th hour, the last minute before 12. So then at 12 o'clock, the underlying energy was 41, and the Ace of Cups, the Holy Grail, and Mary Magdalene, carrying the load and knowing without knowing. The 34 of the hours of love and energetic exchange in becoming, the rolling stone transitioning through the 13 of gifts received in nature in order to dance with the yin-yang lover at the point of no return, where everything shifts gears to another realm, which is the real M, and the realm, which is 10 to the minus 18 as opposed to the minus 2, but lumens here, of charity, alpine pasture, and an elm. It also means soul. So to re-soul, and the real co-creation is the real M. Re to all co-creation. So in regards to all creation, or to redo again and again. The fish with the water, and the Knight of Wands with the desert. So there's this play between water and fire that's going on. And I took a break with Teddy at this time, and I hung up some dog pics that Jenna had done and got rid of some stuff. And I came back at 104 with the energy of the horse of the ocean. But this is also Pegasus and the Altians, the alt of the high pitch or out of range, the alternate, other, or lower part and bottom, high and tall, old and alto and gold. And remember, alto is the lowest part of the woman, or the contralto are both the lower octaves for the woman, but not for the masculine. It's the high point for them. So it's really the middle tone. The all, the top, the summit from under, the joint, the juncture. So here the juncture comes up again. The knuckle, the knot, bit, and stumpy. The article, clause, section, or paragraph. To articulate, or the steep glen or raven. Stop, sometimes. To beat or be beaten, everything and anything already. Or all are ready. To grow, to nourish, and the alt key, the enthusiasm and gusto, the grown up, to fold. So that comes up again. The heightened emotion or state of excitement which causes you to fold into yourself. Also the cliff and the precipice, as we just described, the fool about to take that leap off the cliff. So a quick way out, cliff notes. Tones, to fold in upon oneself, when all grown up and reaching the peak of your existence, the 11th hour before the next. And remember, next is literally Jesus on the Christ, right? Being killed in some way on the cross. So the 11th hour before the next, which also translates as any exit. To reach the top from down under, diving deep and rising to the juncture. Man's peak is feminine's lower tones. The divine masculine understands the importance of saving others, the divine feminine of saving one's self. To connect to the whole, bringing the two tones together, 4 and 1, 4A, which 4 is the number 4 and A is the number 1. To bring the two tones together, 4A or 41, which is the Ace of Cups and the Holy Grail, for a piece of harmony or pleasant contrast, crossing, just like the train coming back around again. Much different perspectives that when they come together is music to your ears or heaven on earth. At 124, the leap of the masculine or magician and the 24 of the spaces between, but also the 24 pairs of chromosomes, and Omega at enlightenment, and the Pleiadians, and the confederation ship of 24 different species coming together. The first card here is the 40 of the void, the 20 of the sweet soul rising, and that energy of sweet water. And we also put on Sweet Child of Mine this morning out of the blue, which we don't usually do. So the Page of Cups, the most innocent card in the deck, is coming up as the void, and the sweet soul rising of the 20 of the wake-up call. Sweet Child of Mine, and the 52 of the Queen of Swords and the Ancient Ones, as the divine feminine bends over backward to reach the point in the void, to call and wake the sweet soul to come in. And again, this is like the mother calling their new baby in, to receive the light from the ancient ones, the entry wounds and entry points, where the point makes the whole, like the owl, the AWL, the hole maker. The point makes the hole that becomes the wound. So like the AWL is the point that makes the wound, it makes the hole, HOLE, and then the owl, OWL, makes them whole, WHOLE, or all, ALL. All roads lead to the original opening, the point of all creation, that there is no beginning or end, there is no chicken or egg, just is and be. Isabella to be, or not, KNOT, and some detangling, as I'm losing my voice, right? So if you bring in the not, maybe you're bored, so you don't want it to be so easy, right? It's Isabella to be. Or not, so not, instead of not to be is KNOT, so instead you just create a not to undo while you're waiting. Some detangling, or explaining to do, as Desi would say to Lucy, for Lou to see. In the sky with diamonds, or dye almonds, 2 eyes to see, which is 2 and C, the number and the letter C, which is the whispering bench, the Queen's whispering bench. At 133, the leap to the Christ vibration, 33, or the Divine Masculine Magician in the Christ vibration. And then my son texted me, and it took me into Mr. Ed, right? A horse is a horse, of course, unless you're Mr. Ed. And then Wilson, the ball Wilson. Is there Mr. Wilson and Mr. Ed? I don't know. But Wilson, the ball, was coming up from Castaway, floating happily on the sea. As the MR of Mr. Ed was coming up as magnetic resonance, like a MRI, but the magnetic resonance point of ED, which also is Elena Denon, or extra dimensional, or one equal and congruent to the divine feminine's half of creation. Co-creation of R.Ed, which is infrared and ultraviolet, red within and violet without, as magenta comes up as the combination of these colors in the magnetic talking tree that's human with connections. So the Page of Cups, number 40 at 142, which is the 2 of Cups. The Page of Cups in a wake-up call to the 52 Lady Liberty receiving the sun, and via the Ancient Ones. As then television comes up, because when you put 5 and 2, when they're written in a squared way, when you put them together, they make like a television on a TV stand or a signpost. But television came up, and this was significant because the other day, ELE came up as the elephant, Ellie, but also with I, EYE, and there was this reference between the lowercase e's being the eggs cracked open, and then one with the L between, the other one with the Y between. And so here, Telly came up, TELE, so then T and I were coming up. So I looked up those words, and this energy of the mutual connection of Ellie, TELE, of the calf, whether it's a young cow or bull, the lens, the cloth, the canvas, and full, the frozen layer of soil on top, to freeze, and Telemark, which is a county of East Norway, which is today merged together with Vestfold, and Vest references the heart area and the folding in on oneself. And now that area is called Telemark and Vestfold. Land, march, woodland, puppy, sun, abundant, big, and oil all come up with that word. So Telly and Tie, TEYE, equals cord enclosure of mutual connection. And again, we always talk about the cord between the masculine and the feminine. Merged by a folding in at the heart or midsection. Young cow or bull, frozen, big, oily sun, and puppy love. And then it also comes up as tell and tie, or TTL and I, which together make U, L, and I, or perhaps LE again, but it comes up as the two capital T's as Twin Towers or pi, and then the L and the I come together to make a U, which is the Holy Grail, the EL and IE. Apart, they may be that pi symbol, the Twin Towers, or a temper tantrum and a lie. But together, they're this other energy of the U, of the Holy Grail, of two eggs cracked open in a leap or arch or arc to a chakra system. And then ELIE, which is a souvenir to remember from the pi of sharing equally, and the U of sharing a cup. The U in the energetic exchange of the rolling stone of MM, 33, and WW. The stone rolling along, and just by rolling along it got a nail in its tire, deflating and tired, needing a patch and a pump to hold their breath again without being afraid to spring a leak or being afraid to cry and feel weak again. So at 2:04, there were 3 cards here in the space between. The 14 of falling, the 19 of Shakti, the 36 of the cosmic butterfly, the angel sun and Atlas, light as a feather with the feminine sun, a shock of source to bring the fallen angel back to life again in a cosmic, or cos and Mike, transformation as the caterpillar falls, becoming a butterfly. The cat falls so the buttercup can fly. It's like having to roll the car, right, when you have a dead battery to get it started. You must fall. There has to be this motion of falling in order to fly. It's the leap of faith to rise again. At 2:09 is the underlying energy of the 38 and the Queen of Cups, and Archangel Raphael healing her heart. The 41 of the bird who dances with the 8, and there's that 3-8 again, to the 4 before the 1, the 41 of the Holy Grail, to have and hold in that cup the 7th chakra and Archangel Uriel, which is U-R-E-I-L, which R-I-E-L is the bar, the rail, and the track, bringing us right back again to the railroad track, raising the bar with 7 AA batteries and an award as the 2 A's come together again as the Buddhist temples with the bridges across. That is the way Elena expressed our future, world, like where she was at the time explaining that. I don't think it was the Altians, but another location, where she described the buildings as very big at the bottom and then arcing up towards the top with a very strong foundation and looking like Buddhist temples with these very, very high bridges across them. The AA of archangels and the Buddhist temples that taper up and bridge across with big strong foundation, where you, the capital letter U as the Holy Grail, are real. You real. Real M, which is co-creation. Back to the bar, the rail, the track, on the right track again. At 2:14, which is Valentine's Day, and the feminine and the higher love. And the 46 of the thinking man, of U and M, track and reel in. The U of the Holy Grail, the M of co-creation that tracks and then reels in. The 46 of the thinking man with the 6 of cups. She with crown and he with 2 feathers in his cap. For when he fell and rose at 3-way crystalline juncture, she is the 4-1 and he is the 4-6, where she arcs and he spirals. She leaps and he whips up something special for her. She for I am and he for I family, as 2 sides of the same coin with a running start. Black and white stallions take action to merge into a dream, stalling the lions, which can be the ego, and setting the lambs free, as in God's likeness, becoming Mr. and Mrs. Ed, or ED. She with crown and wings, and he with 2 feathers in his cap and crystalline. Towers, 3 of them, 3, 0, and 9, as remember 309 is really 369 because 0 references the present moment. And spiraling in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9 of the 3D, 4D, 5D energies. And then 309, which is a highway near me in a place called Cheltenham, which is also in England, where Cheltenham was being broken down here as chi, and then LT as light, and then EN, which for me is code for Jesus Christ, and then ham. And then Wyncote was coming up as the wink and the oat. So one is the light of Jesus Christ, ham. So she was coming up as the light and he is the ham, with the wink and the oats and the mindset of this approach. At 225, which is the Divine Feminine and the Knight of Wands, the number 4 came up with the happy family. The 52, and that can be the Emperor as well, the 52 of the Goddess of the Moon and the Queen of Swords, the 48 of the Angel of Balance, and the 12 at the end of the Temple Path. Hitting the ground running to the stable happy family, the Star, the Emperor, and the Queen of Swords holding the Moon, and going within when they need balance between water and the desert, which is that fire energy of being dry. The daughter Moon and the sunny Sun hanging out in the Garden of Prayer, the temple in her secret garden, with Chinese lanterns and altar, the juncture of gold, the claws, meaning a section of a sentence, but also the claws keep coming up, as in the bird's claws, and the knot, K-N-O-T, versus the knot, N-O-T, and reaching the summit by going deep within. At 231, the Divine Feminine and the 31 of the group, the 5 of Wands, and the underlying energy of the 3 to beware, and the 24 of Patience, the 2 of Angel, the 20 of Marriage, and the 27 of a Proposal, 34 of Unity. As the Empress needs to be discerning, and the Queen of Wands needs to be patient, the High Priestess with their angels on their side, and pulling in a marriage proposal and a wake-up call of flame to flame, in energetic exchange or hours of love, to unify hands in a divine understanding and renewal, with peace, hope, radiating and attracting great love. So at 234, and shut the door, as the 7 in Cracker came up, with the 23 Owl, the 12 Fool, and the 14 of Judgment here, where good fortune awaits from 4 to 7, the Heart to Crown, also April to July, as the King of Wands finds great wisdom, hanging out to find courage to embrace the changes and take a risk and be adventurous. The 14 of a wake-up to patience and balance, of angels and soul-searching, and opening pages that brings peace and a higher love. As the underlying energy at 239 of the Feminine and the Knight of Cups, and the cosmic egg, the crown, and the collective awakening on the ground side by side, as the shark attacks the rabbit and the bunny runs to Mr. Ed, who's busy counseling the camel and the fish, as the camel's blue and the fish is red. The camel's holding water, but the fish is out of water. And can't we all just be friends? As Mr. Ed is at the polls and couples therapy, and 2 sides of the same coin, helping them to merge in the middle, in common ground with patience, and finding gratitude for the rest that complements what you're missing and want around. So at 245 of the Feminine and the Purge, and the 1 of the Spider, the Fox, and the Butterfly, still connected to the oyster or shell, where the spider's holding their grid point and the fox is admiring them from their den, as the bee learns to grow butterfly wings, staying close to the nest with the bear until the flight is a sure thing, and the bear leaves after fully awakened from their winter slumber. So at 249, or 2 getting their wish, the underlying energy is the King of Wands, the Emperor, the Page of Wands, the Magician, and the Empress, the Devil, the World, the Hermit, and the Page of Cups. So as the King of Wands looks back, and the Page of Wands forward, with the Emperor between or in the middle, the Page of Wands is inspired by magic DNA of the Empress, or the Emperor thinks the Empress's magic counsel is better than his King of Wands, or Aries, and Gemini or Virgo versus Capricorn or Taurus swearing in, with Pisces and Virgo in tow, or Hermit who's watching out for the little ones here, or just the court audience, the family present at the mediation, or family reunion with the Page of Wands and Page of Cups, Aries, Gemini, Taurus, Capricorn, Pisces, and Virgo, or more. As the Page of Cups may also have the Page of Pentacles and Page of Swords with them, or Page of Cups and Page of Pentacles kids meet with soulmates or siblings, the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords. Or the Knight of Swords is rushing in with news of a death, or finally free from an ending or dark night and not sleeping, with the Queen of Cups, or stressed out over the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles lovers, or twin flames, or those of affection connecting, as the Knight of Cups happily moves forward, and the Knight of Pentacles, along with them perhaps, moving to justice, or driving to court together, or to see the King of Swords Libra, or Cancer and Libra, move to dismiss, or dealing with the King of Swords, High Priestess, and the King of Cups, or Libra and Pisces kings are waiting for the Knight of Wands to save the day, or to deliver, or to cover them. At 3:02, which is the Empress and the High Priestess with space between, the first card here is the Two of Wands with the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. As the Knight of Wands goes back with a choice or a passionate offer from the King of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands both separately looking forward to the Queen of Swords, Nine of Pentacles or Sovereign, and the Knight of Wands, or the Queen of Swords to speak to or counsel the very independent child along with the wounded warrior child who feels hurt or defensive. Or the Queen of Swords is with the Page of Wands Sovereign, and they are talking, and there's a guard at the door so no one can disturb them, so that they can talk in confidence at 3:04. Or the Nine of Pentacles is being held until the Queen of Wands can run back and get something from the past, or sending the Knight of Wands back to get it, and making sure someone holds that sovereign until they are able to do that. Or watching the kids or pets play in the yard, as simple as that. So this is the energies we have for today. So let's pull, I'm going to pull an animal card for you guys from my animal deck. What is our takeaway from all this love that's coming in at 7:08 on the clock, with space between the Chariot and the 8 of Strength, of manifestation of dreams, right? The key, the 7 is the key to the 698 pod, because the key to the 8 to open it up. Okay, so from the animals deck, what is our takeaway for the messages today? Oop, as the whole deck was about to fall apart. We have the Three of Winter, which is the Three of Swords, but there's also two birds cuddling with each other. The rose-breasted grosbeak. Sadness is a part of life, but you don't have to endure it alone. You may need a little time to heal, but once you work your way through the emotions, you'll be stronger than before. So not to be afraid of those tears and feeling weak again. The 19 of the Sun and the bluebird here of happiness, that your plans will work out well, bringing you happiness, prosperity, and success. You'll garner the recognition for your accomplishments you so richly deserve. All right, so coming out of the Three of Winter and into the Sun of Spring. And the bottom of the deck is the King of Summer, warm-hearted, devoted, loyal, and faithful king, with two sets of two, and the Penguin, a trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. All right, so this is the underlying energy coming into you now. As then you go into these energies, don't be afraid to grieve with that partner, for this is what's waiting for you on the other side. So really beautiful, loving energies. So much about love and connection here. I'm going to let you go now. Remember your water, your rest, your joy, your nature, to follow your own instincts and your knowing, first and last. And remember to breathe, rise and be love, love and rise. I'll see you guys soon. It was just 34, the arrows of love. Bye, guys.